Man, I really, really hate the critics. So what's going on, guys? I'm here with your Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 13 review of Please Do Not Send Us Astray. This episode is coming under fire because I'm looking at Forbes, a couple of reviews that were put out. Certain fans are saying, oh, this was a ridiculous storyline, everything. It's okay. Like, first of all, the plot line was introduced in the previous episode. They said that basically what they're going to do is they're going to, the Saviors were going to use their weapons and infuse them with, Walker blood, Walker guts. So when it penetrates one of the Alexandrians, they're going to turn. And that's exactly what happened. Some of them are getting a fever, they're getting sick, and we see that a lot of them turn, like Tobin, who was Carol's love interest, turns, and before we know it, we've got a whole bunch of walkers at the hilltop. And they're, they're turning, and it was a good episode. It was a surprise. We didn't expect it to occur the way how it was. I kind of honestly forgot because, I didn't know what they were doing exactly, that they were going to be putting them in the bullets. They weren't being specific about that 2 episodes ago. And then we see, in this episode, when the guns are flying, Tobin gets stabbed, and, and the knife had the Walker guts on it, the Walker blood, I guess, and it got infused within his body. And, it was an interesting concept, but like I said, people don't like concepts that are a little bit different. They want it to be the same old, drab, boring story that's very basic and everything. And the other day we forget about something. Guys, it's a fantasy. It's fiction. This is zombies. This is The Walking Dead. It says it in the title. It's something that's not even possible. It's not the real world. So to go out of your way to make this show to be super realistic and everything when you have fucking zombies in it doesn't make a whole lot of sense now, does it? I'm not really understanding where the critics are coming from on this one. First it said there's too much action, now that it's too fictional. When they kind of forget about the premise of the whole entire show, it's supposed to be a fictional zombie apocalypse drama. Yes, this show is supposed to be more drama than, say, a hokey, like Z Nation, for example, which is just campy up the fucking ass, and doesn't really have a lot of value beyond that. This is supposed to be a show that, it's going to try new things. It's, it has its source material, but it's not a slave to that source material. And they're trying different things out in this show. They're trying to entertain you in different ways, trying to tell the story with different twists and turns. And it really, quite frankly, it's kind of frustrating that the fans always, and the critics always have this sort of backlash. And they do this a lot of times. Whenever a movie tries something new, whenever they try to think outside the box, there's an expression about Hollywood. Everything's been done. Every single type of movie's been made. Every idea has been used and reused, and that's why there's so many remakes and there's so many reboots and shit like that. It's because, right, not enough original ideas. So here we have an original idea introducing The Walking Dead, and it gets flamed. And that's what always happens, and that's what always prevents originality from occurring in Hollywood, is because every single time somebody wants to do something a little bit different, a little something out of the box, it always gets panned as being campy, it's stupid, it's dumb, it's ridiculous, or, it's ludicrous, occurring according to Forbes. And I'm getting sick of it, because this was a pretty good episode. We saw really that now Simon doesn't really care about the prisoners. The prisoners actually go free. And, they escape. So we had a lot of exciting things happen. It's a very eventful episode. And the thing is, it's like, okay, so Brad, why do you care so much what other people think? Because the thing is, what I get scared about this is that the creators are going to be listening to these numbskulls. And they need to realize that nowadays, more than ever, people are out of their minds. And you see this all the time when it comes to the quality of films and such, and people just go overboard when they say things suck. And there used to be a time on here, on my YouTube channel, where everybody would say, oh, Brad, you just say that everything sucks. And then they saw that I was probably one of the most reasonable people here on the internet when it came to reviewing movies and TV shows. Because I actually get down to the nitty-gritty, and I actually talk about what I like and dislike about each thing without calling it ridiculous or ludicrous or stupid, or start destroying people because they want to try a different or new idea and they want to try the way how usually things are perceived here, you know, when it comes to movies and TV. So you try something new, and you know, and you have always been, oh, it jumped the shark, and we already talked about that Happy Days reference. It's so overused, it's so overdone. It's enough already with saying that this jumped the shark and that jumped the shark when nothing jumped the shark. The only thing that really jumped the shark was literally Fonzie in fucking Happy Days. And all of a sudden, everybody wanted to say, oh, you know, there have been shows that have jumped the shark. There have been shows that have gotten a bit ridiculous over time, or they've lost their mojo. I've talked about Big Bang Theory on here before in comparison. I said that's a show that definitely has started to bore me, that has really gone in the other direction where it's really overstayed its welcome, and it's not as good as it used to be. But Walking Dead, I can clearly say that now more than ever, I look forward to watching this show because it is so unpredictable. It is so fun. Negan is such a great character. You see the dissension in the ranks with Simon, and it's, you know, and Dwight, and you just don't know which way it's going to go. You don't know if they're going to run into Negan again, and maybe they're going to get in trouble for sort of being renegades. And you see, just, you look forward to seeing the fallout. Every episode there's a cliffhanger. There's no way to get bored with this show nowadays. These characters now have been infused into my heart. I care about these characters so much. That is why it brought tears to my eyes when I saw Carl finally pass away in the 8th season. I mean, I've been watching this show for 8 fucking years. And it gets to the point where it's like you get emotionally connected to these characters. And that's exactly what you want to feel in a TV series. That's when you know a TV series is successful. That is like I've said, you want to know another good show where it really tugs at your heartstrings? Lost. That was another show where I binge watched that on Netflix. And even though I didn't I wasn't with them from the beginning, I watched it years later, I still appreciated it and the emotion that the show tried to convey. So, I watched all the episodes and I grew attached to those characters like John Locke and such, and, it's like that is why Walking Dead is such a great show. It kind of draws a little bit from Lost in a certain way. Make these characters likable. Make these characters endearing to your heart so that when something happens to them, that is something that a lot of movies nowadays fail to do. That's something that a lot of television shows nowadays fail to do. They fail to tug at my heartstrings. They fail to connect with me on an emotional level. That certain level of likability where I'm going to like that character. So it's almost like when something happens to that character, it fools me. It makes me, not really think that these characters are not real. It's just an actor portraying them. And that shows, it speaks volumes about the acting. It speaks volumes about the production and the dialogue and the show, that even though it's fictional, there's a sense of realism. They come across as real people because of the way how they talk, and they talk in a realistic fashion on this show. Does anybody even think about it on that level? That, this is something that you don't even hear when you watch a show like The Talking Dead. This is a show where these characters actually talk like real people. They act like real people. These are such great actors. And it pisses me the fuck off when you have goofball critics and fans who just kind of, maybe for a couple of moments, when things don't go their way in the series and they don't particularly like something, it's like, we just got to cast a show's ridiculous. It's horrible. It's like, let's just take a step back and appreciate the show that we have and that it's trying to do new and different things to try to entertain us. Anyway, guys, end rant. I thought it was a great episode. I thought that they tried to do something a bit unexpected and out of the box, and then followed the continuity of what was being discussed, so I don't know why everyone's so surprised. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this review, and I will see you for next week's episode.